Today we got the mighty Avenger, Thor from the MCU, taking on General Zod from Man of Steel, the DCEU. Who's coming on top? Let's find out. Thor, Odin's son, is the Asgardian god of thunder, the former king of Asgard and New Asgard, as well as a founding member of the Avengers. Thor is easily one of the most powerful heroes on Earth. He'll stop an overhand blow from the Hulk, casually break out of Surtur's metal chains, while a large dragon was struggling to break just one link. And in his awakened form, Thor was able to restart the forge along with help from Rocket Raccoon and his spaceship. Thor is also able to throw an incredibly powerful punch, even if he doesn't have his hammers, Mjolnir or Stormbreaker by his side. He's actually repeatedly been able to send Hulk flying backwards with his attacks, send Hulk flying through hundreds of feet of alien metal just one hit, and hit Hulk so hard that mere shockwaves are the size of a large building. He's durable enough to take attacks against the most powerful beings in the MCU, like Curse and Ultron Prime, repeated attacks from Hulk, even attacks from Thanos. Thor is taking a blast from Gungnir, Odin's magical and powerful spear. Was at ground zero for both the Rainbow Bridge explosion and Ultron's asteroid city, yet wasn't knocked out by either, and survived attacks from Hela's Necroblades, which had previously easily killed other Asgardians. He's even started a Power Stone generated explosion, and survived the full power of a neutron star for almost a full minute. Thor is also surprisingly fast, isn't afraid to bull rush opponents, and also easily able to deflect blaster fire and energy blast, and even destroy Hela's swords in midair. Then after having Mjolnir destroyed, Thor learned that he could generate lightning himself without the hammer, generating massive lightning strikes, and even destroying a part of the Rainbow Bridge. He's also able to amp his punches with lightning, sending Hulk flying through the air, shortening massive shockwaves of his blows. Then finally, Thor helped to create Stormbreaker, which is going to be Thor's coronation gift, can freely summon and control the Bifrost, and just the sheer power to kill weaker beings. With his weapon by his side, Thor was able to destroy large portions of the Outrider army, overpower a full Infinity Gauntlet, nearly kill Thanos. And then Thor actually went on to cut off Thanos' arm and succeeded in killing Thanos and cutting off his head. So, as we got one corner, the Asgardian god of thunder, Thor. But, entering the ring, at the corner, was the Kryptonian warlord, General Zod. General Zod is a Kryptonian war criminal and former general of the Kryptonian rebels, leading them during the events of the Kryptonian Civil War. Managing to survive the destruction of the planet Krypton and escaping from his Phantom Zone imprisonment, he viewed the purpose of his life to be the successful reestablishment of Krypton on another planet. General Zod was the first great enemy of the hero Superman, who ultimately defeated and killed him in combat after a prolonged, devastating duel in the heart of Metropolis. Being Kryptonian, Zod has all the same powers as Superman, meaning that his strength, durability, and speed are virtually incalculable. He's strong enough to hurl satellites, destroy skyscrapers, and regularly send Superman flying backwards with his attacks. He's able to create shockwaves of his punches and send Superman hurtling through buildings, and actually managed to get the upper hand over Clark several times in their fight. Zod is also insanely durable, being able to take plenty of attacks from Superman, even when Clark was angry and furious, when they were experiencing the heat of re-entry. Finally, he's extremely fast as well, catching Superman by surprise and blitzing him during their fight, reacting to and blocking strikes from Clark. He's actually fast enough to climb up the side of a skyscraper. Zod is also able to fly, although he's shown that he doesn't have as much experience in the air as someone like Kal-El. He's also got heat vision that's powerful enough to destroy skyscrapers. And really, all of Zod's senses are superhumanly enhanced. Finally, General Zod is a highly fierce, formidable, and ruthless opponent. He's incredibly skilled in a wide array of Kryptonian martial arts. He also shows no remorse in killing opponents, attempting to vaporize helpless bystanders, to even hesitate to murder his friend on 2 different occasions. Overall, General Zod is easily one of the toughest opponents in the whole DCEU, combining the immense power that comes with his Kryptonian physiology with a ruthless and cunning tactical mind. So, who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, Superman vs. Thor is one of the most iconic and hotly debated fights out there. But before we even get to that battle, first I want to throw Thor up against Superman's very first enemy, General Zod. Just kind of ease the God of Thunder into the idea of battling against Kryptonians. So who's coming out on top here? Most we're going to find out. Also, just want to give a reminder before we start. General Zod isn't Superman. He doesn't scale to Superman. He definitely doesn't scale to Justice League Superman. Doesn't even technically scale to Man of Steel Superman. Zod was still learning new powers and abilities throughout his fight. He wasn't exposed to Yellowstone radiation for very long. He wasn't as strong, wasn't as tough, wasn't as fast as Superman. Not saying that Zod isn't strong, tough, or fast enough to beat Thor, just saying that we can't turn this into a Thor vs. Superman fight just because both of them are Kryptonians. It's a Thor vs. Zod fight. Alright, now let's get started. And Zod is incredibly strong. I mean, just look at his fight against Clark in Metropolis. He was destroying skyscrapers with punches, hurled Superman through several buildings like it was nothing. He would catch a punch from Superman in the palm of his hand, routinely sent Kal-El flying backwards, or just completely decked him. Just insane power. And the question is, can Thor match him? Well, he has been able to overpower Iron Man, overpower Loki, even momentarily overpower and stop Hulk, despite the fact that Thor was in a compromised position and Hulk had the leverage and was leaning in of all his weight. He was also able to send Hulk absolutely flying with one good swing from a giant hammer, sending him flying through hundreds of feet of solid metal on top of that. And that was all pre-awakening, pre-God mode. After that, well, he restarted the Forge. Nivelier's entire array of rings and machines surrounding a dying star, meaning it could be considered the size of a real small planet. And Thor basically restarted it with his bare hands and broke that ice just by pushing really hard, albeit with a little bit of help from Rocket and his spaceship. He accidentally knocked out Iron Man with a throw from Mjolnir, and Iron Man is strong enough to be hit with parts of a moon. He dismembered and decapitated Thanos. And I'm actually going to argue that post-Awakening, post-Stormbreaker, Thor is actually straight up the strongest hero in the MCU. Stronger than Hulk, even stronger than Captain Marvel. And it's all based upon how they scale off of Thanos. Hulk miserably lost his one and only fight with Thanos, so he's pretty much instantly out. However, speaking of Carol, well, in Endgame, Captain Marvel managed to hold back Thanos' hand and actually overpower him, knock him to his knees. But this doesn't necessarily mean that Captain Marvel is stronger than Thanos, because Thanos has got the Infinity Gauntlet on at the time. The Infinity Gauntlet had enough power to completely ruin Hulk's arm, kill Iron Man, even significantly injure Thanos the second time he used it. So putting it on here definitely weakened Thanos to some degree. On top of that, Thanos was just using one hand, while Captain Marvel was using two. So impressive, no doubt. But Thor's showing against Thanos is just much more impressive. He was in a grappling duel for Stormbreaker with Thanos. And despite the fact that Thanos was slowly winning, this was just because Thanos had all the leverage in the moment and was pushing out of all of his body weight, while Thor was in a severely compromised position and couldn't get any leverage of his own. And Thor was still strong enough to hold him off. On top of that, Thanos isn't the one weakened in this moment. Thor is. It's been 5 years since he last fought. 5 years since he last worked out. 5 years since he was probably last sober. You can't tell me that he wasn't weaker than he was in Infinity War or Ragnarok. Yet still, Thor was able to hold off Thanos, strongest guy in the MCU. So yeah, I'm going to say that Thor is the stronger one out of the two. Well, then what about durability? Well, Zod is also incredibly tough. Incredibly tough. He was bull rushed and punched repeatedly by an angry Superman. was right after Zod had threatened his mother. Zod actually consistently managed to take attacks from Superman. He kept on fighting against Clark with the heat of re-entry, and even managed to recover from some attacks faster than Clark. But it's kinda hard to argue that he's tougher than Thor. It's hard to argue that even Superman himself is tougher than Thor. He was at the epicenter of both the Rainbow Bridge explosion and the explosion of Sokovia. Took a point-blank blast to the head from the Power Stone, and started another explosion generated from the Power Stone. He's been smacked around by Iron Man, Ultron, Curse, and definitely Hulk. He's been beat up by Hulk so hard, they begin to see visions of his dead father. Yet, in all those cases, Thor was never knocked out. Sometimes he went on to technically win the fight, like with Hulk. Other times he was just toying with them, like with Ultron. He withstood a massive beating from Thanos, similar to one Hulk took, if not worse, yet wasn't knocked out and continued fighting. Then we gotta circle back around to the Forge. I mean, the guy survived the heat, the force, and the power of a neutron star almost a full minute. Nothing that anyone else has done in the MCU is more impressive than that. Arguably, nothing that anyone has done in any comic book movie ever is more impressive than that. I mean, Superman was temporarily put out of action after being hit with a nuclear bomb. Thor was able to hold on under the full force of a star for a minute before he finally gave. Thor's definitely tougher than Zod. No question about it. However, there's also no question that Zod isn't the faster one out of the two. So Zod's greatest advantage is his ability to fly, and he's used the ability to surprise Clark, blitz Clark, and even send Clark flying off into outer space. But when it comes to fighting close quarters, he really only showed true speed on one occasion, when he blocked several Superman's punches. However, those speed blitzes from Zod are deadly, and if he's able to perform them against Superman, who's faster than him, then he's definitely able to perform them against Thor, who's slower than him. And they're just going to be devastating. But with all that being said, I actually want to talk about Thor's speed. Make a case that while he isn't faster than General Zod, by no means is he faster than Zod, he also isn't technically slow. In fact, he's one of the faster heroes in the MCU. He's blocked the Destroyer Energy's beam, blocked Chitauri plasma shots, blocked Ultron Energy Blast, and blocked and destroyed Hela's swords. He's dodged Malekith's attacks, dodged attacks from the Hulk, dodged attacks from Thanos, and even just directly proven that he's faster than the Hulk by landing punches quicker. On top of that, he was one of the only ones able to recognize Quicksilver's movements and actually move in Quicksilver time. And he also fought at roughly comparable speeds to Captain Marvel or worthy Captain America, even roughly comparable speeds to Zod himself. Thor also really likes a good bull rush too, as he's ran to Malekith, saved Loki from a black hole grenade. There was even possibly a mock cone forming around his hammer as he flew away from the giant dragon. Thor isn't slow. He just isn't. And I have a hard time arguing that Zod's speed alone is going to lead him to victory here. Mostly just because he doesn't use his speed like Flash or Superman, where he just makes everyone else around him look like absolute statues. And Thor is still stronger and more durable than the General. So that means if Zod wants to win here, he's going to rely upon his other powers and his pure savagery. And that's not going to be enough. Heat vision is nothing to Thor. He's taking the heat of a literal star. And Thor probably just will block a Stormbreaker if he really wants to. And savagery and a willingness to kill is also nothing to Thor. I mean, he's fought against Hela and Thanos, who are both perfectly willing to kill him, even trying to kill him. You can even throw Hulk into the mix, because the Green Goliath definitely wasn't holding back in that fight. So General Zod's willingness to kill isn't going to catch Thor off guard. On top of that, Thor's got other special powers and abilities of his own, and his can be a lot more useful and devastating in this fight. For starters, this is lightning. We'll take down a Leviathan and help melt Ultron's vibranium body. Summon a giant lightning blast, basically the size of a mountain, and even staggered Thanos with a lightning blast. Thor was also to amp his punches with lightning, would use these to just absolutely wail on Hulk. Lightning is also a great counter against General Zod's speed and the possibility of a speed blitz, considering they can basically create a lightning shield around him in some ways. And then there's Stormbreaker. It overpowered a blast from a 6-stone Infinity Gauntlet. It impaled Thanos in the chest, nearly killed him, and later did dismember and decapitate the Mad Titan. And Thor will have absolutely no problem doing the exact same thing here. Thanos is already more durable than Zod, so the axe should injure Zod just for that reason alone. But it's also magical in nature. When Wonder Woman used her sword against Doomsday, a monster created from Zod's body, she was able to easily cut him, even slice off a hand. Like we said, Thor should have no problem doing the same thing here. So, end of the day, who wins? Well, it's gotta be Thor. The only undeniable advantage that General Zod holds in this fight is his speed. And even then, Zod doesn't use his speed like Superman, Flash, or even Quicksilver do, which you're going to need in this fight in order to win. Because even with that speed, Thor's stronger, he's tougher, he's got a lightning and Stormbreaker, and he's not even necessarily slow in his own right. With all those advantages on his side, got to give this one to the God of Thunder. Thor wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sound off in the comments down below. Also be sure the like button, subscribe button, turn notifications on the DanCo army, and I will see you all next time.